The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Earnestly Speaking podcast coming to you on Election Day, November 8th, 2022. Actually, election night. Of course, it's close to 11 o'clock at night. Watching the results come in. I'll talk more about the election results and all that on the next pod, which I plan on doing within the next 24 to 48 hours. Of course, this podcast, subscribe to all podcast catchers, of course, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and all that good stuff. This one is focused on just mainly a couple things here on the show. We are officially at the midway point. I know we did last week on the podcast. We had on Kyle Nash on the show, and we did a midterm grades. But what I wanted to do also, too, is check back on my preseason overrunners I did back in August and see where I'm at right now as we're 9 weeks into the season now. We're now entering week 10 of the NFL season. And we'll do this again also, too, at the end of the year in another 9 weeks from now and check in and see where my predictions stood. So we're going to go through A through W as we always do, and we'll see where I was, where the overrun number was originally, and where they're at now, and what I picked. So Arizona Cardinals, their overrun number starting the year was 8.5 wins. They are currently 3-5. Disappointing year. Obviously, they have DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games of the year, so that wasn't a surprise. But I always felt that if they could hold the fort down, at least stay at 500 to start the year, they could be okay. But then they've gotten Hopkins back, and they've lost 2 games in a row since then. Not a good look. I believe I had the over on 8.5 wins. I think they're gonna. I don't know if they'll catch the 9 wins or not. I think the under's gonna hit here. To be honest with you, we'll see how the schedule looks. But from what I've seen with Arizona, they look very inconsistent, and I think Cliff Kingsbury's future there is definitely much in doubt with the Cardinals. All right, the surprising team here, the Atlanta Falcons, overall number was 4.5 wins. I had the under. They are currently at 4-5, so they already pretty much are at the number. The one win to get the over. Surprising year so far for the Falcons. Obviously, Arthur Smith doing a fantastic job as head coach. A lot of smoke and mirrors here, but at the same time, the big surprise. I had them as a bottom 2-3 team in the league this year, and at least right now, through 9 weeks, they're not that. So they're probably going to hit the over on that 4.5. I had under on, but a great year for. Much more very surprising year for the Falcons, all considering what we thought we were going to get this year. All right, the Baltimore Ravens number was 9.5 wins. I had the over. They are now at 6-3. They should get there as well too. A couple of games this year, a little concerning, blown leads and stuff. But I think overall they're making a case to being that second or third team in the AFC behind Buffalo and Baltimore. Lamar Jackson do Lamar Jackson things. Big win against New Orleans on Monday Night Football this week. They should get the over on that one. I don't see any issues there. Big race between them and Cincinnati for the AFC North title, obviously. Speaking of those Buffalo Bills, as mentioned, their overall number was 11.5 wins. They are currently at 6-2. I don't see issues with them getting to the 12 wins this year. Couple concerns I see with the Buffalo Bills in the last couple of weeks. Obviously a big loss to the Jets on Sunday, but a team very much dependent on the running game, or lack of running game rather. Very reliant on Josh Allen. Need to get a running game going. But otherwise, I think they'll get the over still. They're too good a team. I still have them as favorites to win the Super Bowl this year, but we'll see how things play out going forward. The Carolina Panthers over number to start the year was 6.5 wins. I had the over on that. I don't think they'll get the over. I think right now they're currently, at 2-5 or 2-6 right now currently. Very disappointing year. They already fired Matt Rule, the head coach. They traded away Christian McCaffrey, traded away Robbie Anderson. Steve Wilkes is currently the head coach. So very, very disappointing year for the Carolina Panthers. Not to say they're going to be a playoff team, but we thought they'd be a little better than where they are now. And especially in the division of the AFC South being so bad. And that's the thing too with the AFC South right now. NFC South rather. They can still climb back in things. They can still climb back in the race. They're only 2 games out of first place in NFC South. So technically they're not out of it yet. But I don't think anybody is picking the Panthers to do anything really, honestly, when it's all said and done when it comes to the division. The Panthers right now currently 2-6, I think. I'm looking for the number here real quick. Give me 1 second, make sure. I'm not entirely sure that number's right. But I think I'm right on that one. On 2-6 of the Panthers. Give me 1 second. No, 2-7 actually. Even worse. Even worse. All right. So anyway, next team here we have the Chicago Bears. They're over a number starting the year with 6.5 wins. They are currently at 3-6 right now. Don't know if they'll get there. I mean, Justin Fields has looked pretty good the last couple of weeks, but at the same time, they're not a really good team. I had the under in this one. I think my under's in this. I think my under's going to stick here, to be honest with you. I don't see him more than winning 5 or 6 games, honestly. The AFC champions, Cincinnati Bengals, over a number was 9.5 wins to enter the year. I had the over on that. They are currently 5-4. 5-4. I think they'll get there. Obviously, their roster is loaded. Obviously, not having Jamar Chase next couple weeks is going to hurt, but I think big win against Carolina last week in a blowout. I think they'll figure things out. They'll get to at least 10 wins this year, honestly. All right, the Cleveland Browns over a number 8.5 wins to start the year. They are currently 3.5. 3-5. I had the under in that. Ooh, this is gonna be weird because they do get back. They do get back. Deshaun Watson I think it's week 13 he comes back, I believe. I still think the under is gonna happen because they're very inconsistent this year. They had a couple of games they could have won. They actually could be better than 3-5 this year. A couple of games they let go away. The Jets game, of course, early in the year, the Jets game. I think the Falcons lost there too as well. But yeah, I think the 3-5 is kind of disappointing actually, all considering the way they lost the games this year. All right, Dallas Cowboys, number 10.5 wins. I had the over on that initially. They are currently at 6-2. Surprising. 6-2, considering the fact that they didn't have Dak Prescott a good chunk of the year. They're gonna get there. They're gonna get past the 10.5 wins. Not win the division, of course, because Philadelphia is running away with it now, but they are definitely one of the threats in the NFC going forward. Denver Broncos 10.5 wins was the over/under. I had the under. They are currently 3-5 right now, one of the most disappointing teams in the league. Also, in disappointing situation with Russell Wilson. And the schedule gets a little tough in the back end. I mean, I'm not really impressed with the coach. The head coach, his name right now, kind of Nathaniel Hackett. There we go. Not really impressed with. Obviously, no one's impressed with him right now. He could be one and done if things aren't improved between now and January. We got the Detroit Lions, who were 6.5 wins the over under. I had the over on that. They are currently 2-6. This is a team, again, that I had as a frisky, possibly playoff wildcard team, and they looked kind of decent the first couple weeks in the year, and then they've just fallen apart since then. Now, they won against Green Bay this week, the Packers this week, big win, but I don't know. I don't think they'll get to the 6.5 wins, 7 wins they need to get over. So I'm going to take a loss on that one probably. We'll check back in the year and see where we're at. Green Bay Packers, 10.5 wins with the over-under. I went over on that. They are currently 3-6. At this point, I don't think they're getting there. They've lost 5 in a row. Aaron Rodgers has looked a little pedestrian lately. No receivers. Defense has been kind of bad the last couple weeks. Very disappointing team in the Packers. Very disappointing year for the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, of course. Houston Texans, 4.5 wins was the over-under. I had the under on that. They are currently 1-6-1. 1-6-1. They've been competitive most a lot of these games, but I don't know if they'll get to the 4 wins they need. The 5 wins to get the over in 4.5. Honestly, I'm gonna say no. I think my under my under feels a little safe there. Although they've been competitive this year. How about this one? Indianapolis Colts, 9.5 wins the over under coming to the year. I went over. They are currently 3-5-1. Again, one of the most disappointing teams in football this year. They're not going to get the over on that one. They fired Frank Reich, of course. They already benched Matt Ryan. They're going with Sam Ellinger as quarterback now. What a disappointing year for the Colts. For me, it looks like they're trying to tank the year. They just hired Jeff Saturday as head coach out of nowhere. Surprising hire there. Colts have been another team like the Broncos. Very disappointing this year. What else? We have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who has 6.5 wins coming over under. I had the under in that, slight under in that. They are currently 3-6. I actually think they have a good chance of getting the over on that one. They've been very competitive most of their games too, but I don't know. The under, I had the under on that one, but I don't know. I think they can get the over, honestly. I think they get the over. We'll see. The Kansas City Chiefs, they over number coming to the year was 10.5 wins. I had the over on that, of course. They are currently 6-2. They'll get there. They're still one of the favorites in the AFC to win it all. Pat Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football. And that's just that, honestly. The LA Chargers 10.5 wins also coming to the year. I had the under on that. They are currently 5-3. I think if they get healthy, which they should get healthy in the next couple weeks, they should get the over on that one. Brandon Staley, the head coach, the coach that I've been very wary on and worried about and not trusting. They've done enough to limit him and him. He's done enough to not have me criticize him throughout the year, honestly. So I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna slam him there. I think they get the over in this one, honestly. All right, the LA Rams, another disappointing team this year. 10.5 wins was the over/under. I had the over. They are currently 3-5. They're not going to get there. They look bad all year long. Even the 3 wins look pretty bad. At least most of the 3 wins. Hangover maybe. I don't know what it is, but oof, terrible luck for the Rams this year. All right, we have the Las Vegas Raiders, another disappointing team this year. 8.5 wins the over/under for them this year. I had the over that. I hadn't won the AFC West actually. And they are 2-6. They are not going to get there, in my opinion. I don't think they'll get there. Of course, and I think Josh McDaniels on the hot seat too, especially. Let's see what else here. We have the Miami Dolphins, 8.5 as well. Over/under, had over on this one. They are currently 6-3. Tua's having a fantastic. Tua Tagovailoa is having a fantastic year. They will get there. They'll cross 8.5 with ease. They will with ease. One of the best stories of the year right now. As long as they keep Tua upright and healthy, no more concussions, obviously, they should be fine. All right, let's see here. The Minnesota Vikings, 9.5 wins coming to the year was the over/under. I had the over on that. They are currently 7-1, one of the hottest teams in the league. They're going to obviously cross that. I have trust issues with this team, of course, going to the playoffs, though. But in terms of them just doing, getting the over and maybe being a team that can win at least one playoff game, I'm with that. But winning the Super Bowl, getting the Super Bowl overall, I'm still on the fence with the Vikings, honestly. All right, the New England Patriots, over on number was 8.5 wins. They are currently 5-4. Another team's been very frisky, actually. I had the under this one, actually. They might get there. Bill Belichick-led team, you can't count them out, man. Even with the quarterback situations, of course. They might get there. We have the New Orleans Saints, 8.5 wins. I had the under in that, of course. They are currently 3-5? 3-6, actually. I do not think they'll get there. I don't think they get there. The over on that one. I think my under is good on that one. New York Giants under 7.5 wins. I had the under in that, of course. They are already at 6-2, so I think they'll get there. I think the next 2 weeks they play the Texans and the Lions next couple of weeks. We'll talk about Giants in a second after this segment. I got more to go through with them. The New York Jets, another surprise team this year, 5.5 wins. I had the under in that. They already crossed 5. They're at 6-3 now. In fact, so they've already gotten over the number as it is. Great year by Robert Saleh. Surprising year. Still don't know how good this team is because Zach Wilson hasn't looked impressive. They're winning in spite of Zach Wilson, but the defense has been fantastic. I love the roster, actually, to be honest with you. If they can just get a good quarterback, to be fine. All right. The Philadelphia Eagles, 9.5 wins was the over/under. I had the over on this. They are now 8-0 right now, currently. They're going to crush this, obviously. They'll pass this number next 2 weeks. So, yeah, the Eagles, I'm good on that one, of course. Pittsburgh Steelers, their over-under number is, let's see, 7.5 wins. They are currently 2-6, I believe. Right? Yep, 2-6. They ain't getting there. This will definitely be Mike Tomlin's first losing season of his entire career. Team got a lot of work to do, obviously. We'll see how this team, embraces Kenny Pickett going forward and see if he's the guy. All right. The team I'm really big on, of course, right now is the San Francisco 49ers. The over-under number coming to the year was 9.5 wins. I had the over on that. They are currently 4-4. I think they'll get there. I think even despite the record, I think they are the second best team in the NFC. That's my opinion. A lot of people don't share that opinion with me, of course, but I think they're going to go in a heater here. honestly. They just added Christian McCaffrey, too, especially. It should go on the heater. All right, next team, Seattle Seahawks. No surprise this year. 5.5 wins was the over or under for them. I went under, obviously. They already passed their number to 6-3 right now currently. Great year by Geno Smith, one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now by virtue of 1 year, 9 weeks anyway. Look, I give it double this dude, man. Pete Carroll has done a fantastic job with the Seahawks. You got to give him credit that one. And they currently lead the NFC West. Let's see. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers over-under number is 11.5 wins. I had the over on that. They are currently 4-5. They won't get there. But I think they'll win the NFC South rather, because that division is terrible, absolutely terrible. Tom Brady is now divorced officially, so maybe that'll clear his head. I don't know, but I do definitely have the Bucs not getting the over on this one, but they will win the NFC South. They should anyway. All right, Tennessee Titans, 9.5 wins, the over under. I went under in this one to start the year. They are currently 5-3 in a really, really meh AFC South. They should get there. They should get to at least 10 wins. They're good enough to get at least 10 wins. Obviously, Ryan Tannehill's missed a couple weeks. Last couple weeks of they have Malik Willis playing quarterback. A tough loss to the Chiefs on Sunday, a game that they led most of the way. They're a good team. Not a great team, but they're a playoff team, definitely. At this point, they are the odds-on favorite to win the AFC South. And finally, the Washington Commanders over on a number coming to the year with 7.5 wins. They are currently 4-5. I had this team going to the playoffs. This is going to get close. They're playing better without they're playing better without Carson Wentz, honestly. They should beat Minnesota on Sunday. If they won the game against Minnesota on Sunday, I would have felt much better about them going the over here. I actually had the over as well, too, because I hadn't won the playoffs. I think, you know what? They need 4 more wins in 9 weeks. Can they get there? Man, give me over. Just because I picked them to the playoffs. It's going to be over in the Washington Commanders. So that's where we're at right now. Currently 9 weeks into the season. We'll check back on these, get my official results on how things played out at the end of the year once we get to the playoffs. All right, New York Giants off a bye week now, where the bye is over now. They play this week against, I believe they're playing Houston this week, Houston Texans. I said, surprising year for the Giants. I'm very impressed. I'm obviously very happy with what they've done. A lot of smoke and mirrors, of course. I don't think this team is a great team. I think this team is a team well coached. I think this is why I've been saying that Brian Daboll is, in my opinion, the coach of the year. At this point, to me, the Giants' playoff chances are pretty high for one reason: the environment around them. Like right now, the playoffs start today. You have the Eagles at 1 seed, Vikings 2 seed, Seahawks 3 seed currently, the Bucs at the 4 seed by virtue of leading the AFC South. Okay, 5 seed will be the Cowboys by virtue of winning the head-to-head against the Giants. The 6 seed will be the Giants, and the 7 seed will be the Niners. There aren't really many teams right now in the race to crack the 7 right now, because a lot of teams in the NFC have bottomed out. The Rams are bottoming out currently right now. The Packers are bottoming out right now currently. The teams that would threaten to crack the wild card race are bottoming out now. So the Giants, have padded up a lot of wins early. They banked a lot of wins early, and now with the next 2 weeks too, especially with the games they should win. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but the games they should win against the Texans, against the Lions going forward, they should be 8-2 going to Thanksgiving against Dallas. Okay, which means to me, I believe the magic number to clinch the NFC wildcard spot is 10 wins. Could they get to 10 wins? That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to go and give them the Texans game and the Lions game next 2 weeks. 8-2 Giants. 1 second. Then you got Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to get a Cowboys game a loss. I think the Cowboys is a better team than the Giants are right now. That's in Dallas as well. Then you got the Commanders. I believe that's at home. They got Commanders for 3 weeks. So Commanders kind of frisky last couple weeks. Let's get a Commanders a split. So that's 9 wins right there. You play Philly on the 11th. That's a loss. Minnesota on the week 16. That's a loss. Week 17 against the Colts. That should be a win. And then week 18, that's 10 wins there. And week 18 against the Eagles, a game the Eagles may not even need by the time we get there. I'm going to say that's a win because I think the Eagles will be close to having the number 1 seed. So the Giants can have upwards of 11 wins, and that should be more enough to get to the playoffs, honestly. I don't see any other teams in the conference, unless Washington goes on a run, unless the Rams go on a run, which I don't see happening at this point. The Packers have to win every game going forward. Their window's closing. So, so unless, the Falcons go on a run, which I don't see happening either. So the Giants right now, they and like I said, this is why people say, it's early in the year, you got a lot of time. This is why when you bank wins early in the year, you bank wins early in the season, your margin of error increases dramatically. So that's why I think the Giants will be in the playoffs this year, by virtue of the environment. One last thing before I get out of here. I've been really trying to, with all these sports, this time of year it's hard for me to really watch any content outside of, sports. You have NFL, rolling along, college football, obviously rolling along. The NBA's back. I'm an NBA League Pass, obsessed fan, so I watch the NBA League Pass virtually every single night I'm home. So it's really hard for me to really intake any non-sports content this time of year. Like, people will tell me, oh, you need to watch this movie, this documentary, or this, this show, and it's so hard for me watching any of these shows now because I'm so locked into sports right now. And then the amount of podcasts I've been doing the last couple of months, which honestly I'm looking at that now. I'm thinking that maybe go a little reward. Like, even my wrestling content I watch has suffered the last couple months. I know I promised myself I balance it a little this year, but I'm doing this podcast. Obviously, I have my wrestling podcast. I do Take Wrestling. I also do on Tuesdays I do the Huddle Up podcast, the football podcast I do with my friends Big Jim and Kyle Nash and whatnot and Matt Mealizen, and every Tuesday night, which by the way I love doing. So I'm not complaining about it, but all this stuff, and by the way, those shows too, you got to prep for those shows too, with notes and all the other things. Plus, my priorities with my family, with my wife and kids, and other things we got to do throughout the year, and kids are in activities, got to take them out to places and stuff, and work and all that. So my time is limited now. So a lot of shows I want to watch on Netflix, and that's been coming out lately. A lot of shows I want to watch on HBO Max, and even the shows I watch normally, I've been able to watch, and I pretty much punted on shows until the end of the year. And once football's over, I'll get to it. But it's been tough to really to try to watch shows that watch anything outside of what I watch my sports right now currently. But and I'm not complaining because I love watching sports, but I really try to be someone who likes to balance things out. Too much of anything is not good. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to balance things out. Like my wife, who's she calls herself a professional binger. She's really good at it though. Like, there's a lot of shows that she wants to watch with me, and I say, well, I want to watch that, but I can't because I'm watching this game. I've fallen behind on shows. Like I said on the podcast a couple months ago, I started watching Succession over the summer, and then I never got to catch up on it. And probably season 4 is around the corner. You have a couple of shows on Disney Plus, like the She-Hulk show that I wanted to watch. I started watching, I never finished it. So there's a lot of things that I need to get back on a horse on. But again, I'm in the middle of football right now. Currently, football is pretty much almost every day now. Like, other than Tuesday and Wednesday, there's football on Thursday. There's football, college football on Friday sometimes, college football on Saturday, NFL Sunday, Monday Football Monday. And then the NBA is every freaking day. The NBA is every day pretty much. Although today, election day, of course, not. By kudos to the NBA for doing that. Make sure they open up voting precincts there, in the arenas across the country to make sure people can vote. So good job on the NBA for doing that, and prioritizing that. But man, like I do want to get back to some other content too, especially, and talk about content also too, not just sports content really, but also things of about life and other things I want to get off my chest. Like, the next podcast I do on this feed, we're going to talk about the election and the results. Obviously, I'm recording this now during the election results coming in, but I want to wait till everything's official, and then I can actually have notes to sit and talk with and really explain my opinions on how things played out. Because I'll tell you what, I got a lot to say about how things played out tonight, and a lot of the things I said that I was correct on, for the record. So anyway, that'll do for today's podcast. Of course, dated November 8th, 2022. I'm on Twitter at EJChristian7, Earnestly Podcast across all podcast catchers. Also, subscribe to my YouTube pages, guys. Please subscribe to my YouTube page, Earnest EJ Christian on YouTube. Until then, we'll talk soon, and see you on the next pod.